In creating this video, I wanted to remain invisible. You do not need to hear my interpretation of each speaker. I consider each speaker like a song. That requires individual interpretation by you, the viewer.
Have you ever felt the need to be invisible? What did that feel like?
Obviously, the whole age thing, you're totally invisible. And I've proved that because I've kind of walked along and kept to my bit of the pavement, and people have literally walked into me because they don't see me because I'm old.
Every day I feel that I'm invisible. Being autistic, I think it's a wonderful gift, and I love to share with people that I meet that I am autistic. But unfortunately, I often feel invisible because even when I gently try to explain that I am autistic, the wonderful things about it, but also, some of the difficulties that I can have in accessing the world and navigating the world, I still feel like, unfortunately, my being autistic is often still invisible because people can't see the depth of processing and cognitive, energetic processing, mental processing that I'm going through even when I'm just talking to them, and especially when I'm in a noisy environment or a large, gathering or something. So even though I'm seen physically, I feel like being autistic, I still feel can be quite an invisible disability in my day-to-day life. So yeah, I do know what it's like to feel invisible as my true self, my true, beautiful, wonderful, wonderfully autistic self. And I would love to be able to be seen more visibly as my true autistic self, not the masked version of me that has to sort of mask to try and appear more neurotypical, more like other people in the world. Yeah.
I have felt the need to be invisible in so many different contexts. I think that's like unbearable discomfort when you all of a sudden don't want to be seen whatsoever, but you're there, and then you also have to not come across that you don't want to be invisible. That you want to be invisible. So it's like an uncomfortable, paralyzed feeling for me.
I'm now in a I guess a reasonably senior position. With that comes some responsibilities around media. So you do get seen a little bit, and you do get, I guess, recognised a little bit. I was in the gym just the other night, and the news came on, and I was standing in the gym, and I came onto the TV, and I had people look at me and look at the TV, and it was a little bit funny.
There was one time when I was at school where I felt I needed to be invisible. I was on stage doing a school performance, and I made a mistake, and I just felt like I wanted to sink through the floor and disappear.
It can even be something related to something positive that I've done. If there's too much attention, or there's too much recognition, or I feel like there are too many eyes on me, then I can sometimes feel the pressure or anticipated burden, I suppose, with needing to interact with so many people, or come up with a new response for each question or comment. And to me, I guess in those situations it feels somewhat disingenuous. So yeah, it can be any time and any place, really.
I had the privilege of supporting one of my family members through a significant experience with altered states, and so that was quite a long time, and I was their primary support person, and I felt that our society just doesn't do that well in any way, shape or form. And for the first time in my life, I really just wanted to be invisible, I think. I wanted to work out how to protect them from everything that was going on and to protect their reputation, my reputation from the broader society, even probably from my family. And I just felt like there was times where I just wanted us to be invisible.
Anxiety inducing is the best way to put it. You want to be invisible, but you can't be, and so you're just sitting in your own, I guess, like anxiety, hoping that people don't know that that's how you're feeling.
Yeah, I felt the need to be invisible or wanting to be invisible, particularly when you get the forecast wrong and people have cancelled their weekend plans or their nice weekend away due to the forecast of bad weather or the seemingly promise of bad weather, and it doesn't happen.
I feel like I'm a ghost. I feel like when I walk around, I feel like I'm a ghost somewhere, and like when I move things, everything is like a blur.
I can remember as a young woman, I frequently wanted to be invisible. I felt embarrassed and uncomfortable in the company of others.
I have actually worked for the federal government in a position where people, if they know where you are working and what you're doing, they move away from you. I've experienced being in a taxi or wherever, and we're having conversations, we're going on about their life story and where they are in their life, how they're struggling. And suddenly they ask me, where do I work? And the moment I tell them, and geez, the reaction is so, and I wish I wasn't there for them to even ask me that question, and I wasn't sitting there. Of course, you can't get out of that situation. And other times I've been in social gatherings, like real proper dress-up social gatherings, and you're attending there, and of course we're going again. You're in a conversation, you're introducing yourselves, and you talk about various things, and the conversation goes on till they ask me a question as to where did I work, apart from where they worked. So when I say where I work, and slowly, they keep going with the conversation, but after a little while, I'm sorry, I have to go and talk to somebody else. And I know what that means, and it feels really, it doesn't feel good, because it was my position that made them feel that way, or where I was working is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, didn't feel good.
Well, I guess as a woman, we've all had the feeling of wanting to be invisible at different points in time. So if you feel like you're in a slightly sketchy situation and you just want to fall into the floor or into the road or, into the footpath, there would be an advantage of having an invisibility cloak that you could just rip out of your bag at that point. So what it felt like, I guess intimidating, sometimes scary, at occasions, sometimes it feels even life-threatening, even though you know that might not be the case, but it's still there in the back of your brain. What if something goes terribly wrong right now?
I always want to be invisible when I'm in airports and on planes. They always make me feel like I'm taking up too much space. And it makes me just want to compress myself into a tiny ball so that no one can see me.
Yeah, there were times in my life when I was younger, I felt I really wanted to be invisible. It felt probably not the best, because it was generally when I was being bullied at school.
Many occasions. It's usually, I think, in scenarios where I feel I'm perhaps unable to deal with the things that might present themselves to me. And sometimes, depending on my capacity or energy levels. That might even be a conversation with housemates or friends or a customer or client in previous jobs that I've had.
Very good at faux pas, and because even though Hobart's grown, it's still a relatively small place. So I felt the need to be invisible if I'm seeing someone I don't want to see, because that's, you always have, those kind of things over the years. And also if it's, I've been somewhere and made this faux pas about someone and it just kind of makes you feel really embarrassed. So what do I feel like being invisible? Well, I feel really good if I was, but I'm not.
What is it like to be seen?
I'm being happy. I'm being happy and smile on my face.
I guess when people see values or see me espousing values or acting in accordance with values that I hold and value quite deeply, I feel particularly seen. If somebody notices me being a good friend or something like that. It's not necessarily always being recognised for any particular achievement, but it's mostly, I don't know, I guess we're so often putting on these masks or so often filling roles that aren't necessarily us. I guess I feel most seen when probably when I'm around people who I can relax around.
It always feels good if people recognise you, but I hope they see me for who I truly am and not just what they want to see.
I think it's really important that, particularly as a representative of Tasmania Police, that I take the time to listen to people, to talk to people. I want to make sure that people walk away from an interaction with me with a positive response to the conversation. They're not always going to be happy. Our customers are not always happy with what takes place. But at my level, I have conversations with all sorts of people, and I need to make sure that that I reflect in the best positive way of Tasmania Police, so that can be a positive experience for people. And it doesn't always go that way, but that's certainly what we aim to do. So I'm quite happy for people to know what I am and the role that I play, and to address anything that I can in my position.
Well, especially with my family and my friends and all that, even I know I got disability, but they still think I'm normal. I'm like normal like everybody else. It's good to be seen because I think there are people who know some of the things I do in the community, and when they suddenly see you and then recognize the name to the face, and it feels good that they know who you are, and oh yeah, so you're Reshma, yeah, I've learned to hear about you, and so then in those instances, yes, it's good to be seen.
It can feel nice if you're seen, particularly if that's what I'm going for. If I want to be seen, it can make me feel like what I have been wanting to communicate is worth listening to. And if someone looks at me, sees me, and hears what I'm trying to tell them, then it makes me feel, like I'm someone worth listening to, and that can feel quite good.
To be truly seen is to be understood and to feel as though you're integral to the community, and that just brings me the most joy that's possible.
I think when you're seen by others, it feels human. It feels like being a person and having the sort of human contact that is the birthright, I guess, that being alive feels like, that people see you, people hear you, people get a sense of who you are.
I'm thinking more of a career decision at the moment, or career aspirations. Again, being female, sometimes you feel like you're put at the back of the queue. And so being seen and being recognised for the work that you've done or the achievements that you've made feels really, it's positive, it's happy, it's, all the feels. So, it's two sides of the same coin.
It makes me feel really, really happy.
It's so wonderful when I'm seen as my true autistic self. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit emotional with that question. Occasionally I will meet a beautiful soul and they see me. They see my wonderful autistic, uniqueness, and they are just so welcoming and supportive of who I am as an autistic adult woman who, was late diagnosed. So it's quite a unique journey I've been on. And I really am so grateful for those people. It's so wonderful to be seen as your true autistic self and to be understood in how you process the world and how you process social interactions, how you create, even how I sing and create my music. It's such a cozy, wonderful feeling. I love it so much when someone is just naturally, innately able to see me from the moment that I meet them, and I don't have to try and explain, why I'm different, or that this is how I'm autistic and this is how I might process things differently or uniquely. It's like a warm hug inside. It just feels so nice. It makes me want to flap and jump up and down and squeal and sing and dance. It's really, really beautiful, and I do feel that when I'm in nature or when I'm with animals. I feel seen. I feel that I can be my true autistic self. I can, dance just because I want to, because I've seen a beautiful rainbow or the sunset or, beautiful seabirds flying by when I sit by the water. And I feel like with nature, I feel I'm truly seen, that I'm not invisible as my just wonderfully, wonderfully beautiful autistic self. So that's really beautiful, and that's where I feel most at home in the world, and when I'm singing, of course.
Many different things. Sometimes it's daunting, sometimes it's gratifying.
I feel good about that. Particularly if I'm wearing something political and someone agrees with what I'm wearing and they're seeing that and they're saying yes. But if someone sees me when I'm in a vulnerable state, I feel look at that, there's someone watching me right now, I'm feeling very seen. I feel, a little bit exposed, let's say. I'm feeling it right now, but that's okay. So, and it's like an exercise for me. I know it's a challenge, and I find I have to find resilience in those moments, and just check in with myself. I've got to a point with my disabilities, with my abilities, that I, particularly anxiety and things like that, PTSD, that I can check in with myself and see whether or not I need to change my situation. So sometimes it's confronting. Sometimes I really love it.